when I got into the industry in 2007. You know, it was just basic anatomical terms, muscle insertion and origin. And, you know, you move like this, you work the bicep. But what I'm learning is like this integrative piece to the body that never really gets talked about is a super important missing link. And I think that the stronger it is, the more elastic it is, what term you want to use, I feel like the more, I guess, the cleaner the energy kind of comes through the body and the clearer you can understand what's happening. So talk about like foot health and how that relates with fascia and how that can be an important piece to just overall performance and longevity.
So the foot health, what you want to consider is that if you took
Hey
a,
Tina, how's it going?
if
Sorry.
you, oh, good. So the foot health, what you want to consider is that if you looked at the body as though you were wearing a onesie, like a big one piece of, I don't know, like or you're wearing a sweatshirt with a hoodie, and I grabbed a big chunk of the fabric at the bottom and pulled down, it would create tension throughout the rest of the body. So if you look at the areas of the body, so every piece, just like your skin is all one connected piece, you might not feel different areas because there's some lessening of the tension happens as you go through multiple joints. If you look at the area that was most neglected, generally it's going to be somewhere around the pelvic floor, the hands, the feet, or the jaw. Those are our articulating surfaces. That's what we can use to move, to grab, and create tension with the body. So what you think about is the feet tend to be both from a connection, a grounding, earthing perspective as a conductive, electrically conductive being. Feet are both important for touching the earth and getting an electrical exchange of hydrogen ions, which are basically just electrons, to pull from the ground. And so that offsets inflammation in the body. But they're also the most bound up thing. They're the only thing other than potentially you could say, you know, we don't wear gloves. We generally grind our teeth and we do a poor job of training the jaw, but that's secondary. Other than like the tight underwear and the things we wear around the genitals and the pelvic floor that kind of bind that area, the
One
feet
second.
are the feet are the things that are most constricted. We wear shoes, and how underneath the shoes we wear socks. We have a history of wearing some level of
Yeah.
core footwear that constricts us. And so when we bind that up, we basically take a big chunk of the handful of the fabric and pull down. And so by restoring motion to the feet, we then create a movement stimulus for the fascia that happens from the foot, ankle, and lower leg, and then starts to free up some of this tissue and open things up and get hydration to the most needed part. But they're also the place that gives us better proprioceptive balance. It improves our capacity to stand and navigate the ground, and also to use the toes to feet intelligently, which gives us more sensory feedback. A huge portion of that sensory feedback I mentioned earlier comes from the feet, the hands, and so they sense our environment and they conduct, and they basically are part of orienting our physical being in the ground. So if there's anything you want to start with the feet, the plantar fascia is the only thing that people really know about fascia. But if you start addressing this fascial thing by opening up the feet, you start to notice a whole level of movement that changes, and that changes literally the way that you stand and interact with the earth. That becomes the foundation for expressing more natural movement.